I'm in Shenandoah National Park at the Skyland Resort. This is in the Central District, and this parking lot here is a parking lot that's used to start your hike to the summit of Stonyman Mountain. The trailhead's over there. I am going to instead, though, I'm going to go down here to Skyline Drive and cross over and see if I can locate a horse trail that takes you into Whiteoak Canyon. Tenth of a mile into my hike, I'm standing on Skyline Drive, and there's the trailhead for the Bridle Trail. This is a horse trail. It takes you into Whiteoak Canyon. I'm planning to hike this all the way down to the upper falls. Should be a nice hike. The weather looks pretty good today. Let me get out of the way here so I don't get run over. There's Skyline Drive. Heading north, that's where I came from. You come down here until you see the Skyland signs, and you bear right and go right in there. It's the first parking lot on the right. Up there's the trailhead for the Stonyman hike. So you park there and you just come right down here, and here's the trailhead. So let's get started. It's a few miles down to the waterfalls. .5 miles into my hike, I'm down to 3450 elevation. I started at 3,700 feet up at the parking lot. I'm still on the Bridle Trail. Up this way is where I came from. And I stopped here because this is my first contact with water. These are the headwaters for the Robinson River, which is the river that flows down through Whiteoak Canyon. And right here is a hemlock tree that's not dead. Look at this. One that hasn't been killed by the woolly algae bug. So anyway, going to keep on descending this way. Six-tenths of a mile into my hike. I'm down to 3380 elevation. And here's where the Bridle Trail crosses the headwaters of the Robinson River. Nice little flow here. So continue to head on down the side of the mountain. There's one thing I'll point out. If you decide to hike this thing, it's blazed yellow for horses, but it's not blazed very well. There's a blaze right there on that tree right there, but it's really heavily weathered. I just crossed over the headwaters, and so here's what the trail looks like now. It can be a little hard to follow in some places, but just keep on. Use your best guess as to where the trail is. .1 miles into my hike, I'm down to a 3360 elevation, and here's a spring. It's just a short distance off the bridle path. I'll mark the location with my GPS, and then there's a spring, and right here is a spring box. So they collect water there for some purpose. And from there, maybe it flows by gravity somewhere. I don't know where. Anyway, there's the spring box, and then up that way, right over there's the trail. .3 miles into my hike, I'm down to a 3310 elevation, and this is the intersection with the Old Rag Fireroad. There's where I came from, down the bridle path, and according to the maps, the name bridle path stops here. We're going to go to the right down to the next bend in the road, and then we're going to get on to the, I guess, extension of this, which is now called the Skyland-Big Meadows Horse Trail. So when you get to the Old Rag Fireroad, bear to the right this way. 1.4 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 3,300 feet. And this is the intersection with the Horse Trail Continued, which is the Skyland-Big Meadows Horse Trail. Here's where I came from. It's only about 1/10 of a mile down the road here. And when you get to this bend in the road, you basically just keep going straight. And I think it's about another, it's less than 2 miles from here to the waterfall at Whiteoak Canyon. So we're going to head straight down towards the falls. Two point two miles into my hike, I'm down to 2890 elevation, and I'm definitely in Whiteoak Canyon now. Look, you can see the opposite side of the canyon over there through the trees. There's where I came from, the Skyland-Big Meadows Horse Trail. Haven't come across any horses yet today, or hikers. And I'm continuing on this way. It's about another 4/10 of a mile down to the falls. .6 miles into my hike, I'm down to 2630 elevation, and this is where the horse trail runs into the Whiteoak Canyon trail. Maybe you can hear the water. That's the Robinson River cascading down through the canyon here. There's a little bit of a waterfall there. When you let's see, this is where I came from, down the side of the mountain. That's the Skyland-Big Meadows Horse Trail. You come down here, and when you see this stuff, you go to the right. There's a sign there's a concrete post there that says no horses and no camping beyond this point. So take your horse over here to the right, and there's a steel hitching post. And if I'm not mistaken, you can water your horse over there too. So, and then from here, if you go straight on up, the trail, the foot trail, takes you back up to the up near Skyland, up to the Whiteoak Canyon parking lot. So I'll go over here and take a few pictures, and then the upper falls, the main falls, is down this way, a tenth of a mile or so. We'll go down there too. So over there is where I came down. Here's your hitching post for your horses, and then here's the trail heading back up, the hiking trail heading back up to Skyland. This one's blazed blue, no horses. And then over here, you can take your horse over here, and you can take them across the river right here. It says horse trail right there. That's actually an old fire road. That fire road takes you all the way back up to Skyline Drive at the hairpin turn at Hawksbill. If you look on a map, the Hawksbill area, you see the hairpin turn that Skyline Drive has in it. That horse trail over there takes you all up there. So, hey, you could probably jump across, rock hop across here, but there's a footbridge up that way, a little ways, so hikers can get across. I'll take you up there and show you that. But here's where you cross over with your horse. This is the footbridge that takes you over to the other side of Whiteoak Canyon. Go across there and head to the right. Takes you back up to Skyland. It's looking downstream. .9 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 2570, and here's the main falls, Whiteoak Canyon. 4.5 miles into my hike. I'm up to 3350. It's been a pretty steady climb. And I'm back to the spring and the springbox there. And on my way back this way, I noticed a few other things. There's the springbox I showed you earlier. Over here, it's a little hard to tell, but that embankment right there, that is where somebody dug out from there over to about there. They dug it out flat. So in other words, it's like a parking area. So in other words, you could come up this old road and park here. And then on this side over here, you'll notice that's all kind of cleared out over here. So probably this was so they could come up here and have access to the spring. The spring box I showed you is right there. But then also I noticed as I walked past it, right here, a little bit further uphill, there's another spring box right there. So that one's a little bit higher elevation, so it could be that that one actually catches the water and then it drains into that bigger one down there, and then any overflow comes out that pipe. Now when I get home I'm going to look on the map, but I think down the side of the mountain about a half a mile or so where the Old Rag Fireroad is, I think there either was or still is a ranger station. So it's possible, this is at a higher elevation, so it's possible that this is the water supply for the ranger station, or it used to be. Anyway, I'm still heading back up this way. If I can find a nice place to throw up my hammock, I may throw it up. I need to drink some water. .7 miles. I'm up to 3,300 feet, going to 3,700. Decided to take a break. I threw up my hammock. It should be a little bit tighter, but it's good enough for now. I'm going to mostly just use it as a chair. I'm using the mule tape again. 2,500 pound mule tape comes down here. Now this is a little bit different this time. This is the this is called a Marlin spike hitch. Marlin spike hitch. And it requires the use of a toggle. That's just a sawed off piece of aluminum arrow, but you can use most anything. The stress ends up being on the knot. You put your hammock, you loop it over the knot. You don't put it on the toggle. So, and the only way to adjust that is to take the tension off of it, pull that toggle out, and then retie it either higher or lower. So it's not real adjustable, but it's a super lightweight way of doing it. All you need is some mule tape and a couple of real light toggles. That's my ENO double nest hammock. So I'm going to sit here and drink some water, and I think instead of eating a lunch, I'm just going to eat a trail bar and head on back up to my car, and then I'll eat some lunch when I get to Sperryville. Okay, well here I am. I've got the hammock. I loosened the hammock up even more. Now it's got a real curve to it. I'm using it. It's real low to the ground. I'm just basically using it as a chair. So that's another use for a hammock, is use it as a chair. This hike's turned out to be a real nice hike. These horse trails, at least this one, it's not very busy today. I didn't see any horses at all, or any hikers on that trail up there all the way down. And on On the way back so far, I came across one group of riders, about 6 of them on horseback, and that was it. But real nice out here. I just stepped off the trail, 50 yards or so. The trail's up there. Got my water. Drinking my water. As soon as I get done with that, I'm going to head on back up to my car. Got my, in case of an unlikely event of any trouble, I've got my little Ruger noisemaker, little 9mm pistol. Pretty nice. It's kind of like a Glock. No safety. So be careful. This is a map of today's hike. The map here spans 2 different quadrangle maps. This is the dividing line right here. west of this line right here, the quadrangle name is Big Meadows 1994. And east of this line here is Old Rag Mountain 1994. And today's hike was the Skyland-Big Meadows Horse Trail. This red line here is Skyline Drive coming down. That's mile marker 41 right there. You come on up here. This is actually the highest point on Skyline Drive. This is the Skyland Resort right here. And there's 2 entrances. There's one here, and there's another one down here. So if you're coming down from the north, when you get to the first entrance, you just go in right here, and you'll see a sign right here that points you to the right that says Stonyman Trail. You pull into this parking lot right here and park right there. Then you just get out and cross over Skyline Drive right here, and you'll see a concrete signpost. And this first section here is called the Bridle Trail. It's a horse trail, blazed yellow. It's really just an old road. Anyway, you start descending. There's a fair amount of ascent coming back on the way up. So it's downhill all the way going down. You just follow the Bridle Trail down for a mile or so until you get to here. When you get to here, you're going to turn right. This is the Old Rag Fireroad. It starts over here, and it goes all the way over to Old Rag Mountain. So when you get down to here, you'll see a sign directing you to turn right on the Old Rag Fireroad, and you follow that just for a little short ways, and then you'll get off on the Skyland to Big Meadows Horse Trail. And you just keep following this on down, and eventually it dead ends here onto the Whiteoak Canyon Trail. Now the Whiteoak Canyon trail's right here. That's the trail. That's a trail that most people use. Most people park here. I'm parked up here. Most people park here at the second lot and just come down on the Whiteoak Canyon trail. This is a foot trail, but I've already done that, so that's why I decided to see what this is like. This is a real nice horse trail. It's nice. It's quiet, secluded. I didn't see anybody on this trail coming down. And on the way back up, I only ran into one group of about 6 riders on horseback. So anyway, you follow it on down to here. Now when you get down to here, there's a place down here. If you're on horseback, you go to the right just a short distance and you'll see a long steel rail there, hitching post, where you can tie up your horses. They can also go into the Robinson River there, and you can water your horses there if you need to. Now you can, if you're on horseback, you can cross the river right there and then start back up on the other side of the canyon on this fire road. Now this fire road takes you all the way back up to Skyline Drive down here further south. But when I got here, what I did was I turned left, and you go down just a short ways, maybe 1/10 of a mile, and there'll be a sign that says view, and then you just walk out onto the rocks and you'll have a real good view of this first set of falls here. This first set is the tallest set of falls. There's a whole bunch of lesser falls all the way down the mountain, all the way down to the bottom. But I just decided I was mostly curious about this horse trail. So, and this is the tallest set of falls here. So I stopped when I got here at the upper falls, turned around, and headed on back up. Now let's see. I got on the way back up. Yeah, I crossed the Old Rag Road, and then when I got up into this area right in here is where I decided to throw up my hammock and drink some water, eat a trail bar, and relax a little bit. And then back on up, across Skyline Drive to my car. I'm glad I took this hike. I never did pay much attention to this trail because it's, first of all, you have to look to find it because it's sort of hidden. When you're coming around this bend here in your car, there's a whole bunch of signs having to do with Skyland, and this is the highest point on Skyline Drive, 3,600 feet or whatever it is, and you're looking around this bend here, and it's kind of hard to see where this trail is, but it's there, and it's just an old wagon road. On the other side of the mountain, on the west side of the mountain, this road continues on down the west side of the mountain, and they call that the Skyland Fireroad over there. On this side, I guess they have a tendency to call it the same road that went across the mountain. On the west side, they'll call it one thing, and on the east side, they'll call it something else, just to eliminate confusion. So if somebody says if I'm on a fire road and they give the name of the fire road, then the Park Service will know just from the name whether it's on the east side or the west side of the mountain. But anyway, this is all under trees. It's cool temperatures, and but it is fairly steep in some places. The other thing I noticed is when I got to the Old Rag Fireroad, which I've never hiked this fire road either. Maybe I'll do that sometime. But this Old Rag Road is in really good condition. It's well maintained. And I mean, this trail is maintained from the viewpoint of if a tree falls across it, they'll go down there with chainsaws and cut it up and move it out of the way. That's the extent of the maintenance on most of these trails. And when you get down here, there wasn't a huge amount of water flowing over the falls, but there was some. So I got some video of that. If it rains hard here for a couple days, and then maybe wait a day and then go down there, you'll really see some water. So it was a nice hike. I'm glad I took it, and I'd say it's family friendly. And that was the hike for today.